Hi, this is On Imagination with the Healing Garden, and this is Philosophical Coffee. I have my coffee. I am, if you are new to my channel, I have 30 years philosophy, psychology, sociology. And I have been recovering from narcissism for the last 5-6 days now. And it's been, of all of the sick I have pulled out of my head, this one without a doubt has been the hardest to recover from. I cannot emphasize to you enough how much we are love beings, how much love truly is a center of everything we are. And the more you define the self, the more you realize that it's all just love. And narcissism is an infection into that love. And when you start to really process how much it has infected it, it starts to really put a lot of things into perspective. I slept a long time last night. I went to bed around 10 o'clock, and it's like 9 o'clock now, and I'm just now waking up. It's a definite deep healing. Oh my God, is it a deep healing? I was talking to somebody the other day, and one of the things she expressed to me was the same thing I have experienced myself. What are the stages of healing? Does it end? Yes, it ends. The stages of healing, well, when I went through them, I called them the knowing, the belonging, the authority, the naming, and the owning. And what those were as I integrated each stage of growth, an overall thing was happening to me. The first one was my defined self, the knowing. It's when I came in to realize that I knew finally who I was. You hear so much perspective, so much story. You experience so much abuse, so much projection that it chips away at who you are until you don't know who you are anymore. It's literally the loss of your coordinates. And when I put it all back together again, it was just this mind-blowing, oh, that's the knowing. And when you continue to heal into the third, fourth, and fifth perspective, you reach something called the belonging. I talk a lot about the belonging because the belonging is what most of us destroyed ourselves to keep. The belonging is your home, but it's your clan, it's your family, it's your tribe. The belonging is knowing who your people are. And that's really, it's knowing who your people are. And then as you know who your people are and you know who you are, it's a realization that you can have both. The authority is realizing that you never lost your power to choose. Your ability to choose was always with you. And that the real crux of it was that there was a tipping point in your life where you valued an abuser's needs more than your own. And you chose that. And when you realize that choice is authority, you take it The naming is the summation of all of these things into a single word or even a phrase so that it defines you solidly. You can sum up who you are in a single word: imagination. And then owning is accepting the responsibility of all of it. There's another stage after that. I'm in it now. I almost want to call it discovery. I don't know. It feels like my partner and I are toggling between discovery and the comfort zone. The hardest part about recovering from narcissism was trying to determine what was reality and what wasn't. The first stage, there was nothing was real. You go through a period where you're confused, you're shocked, you're disoriented, and you think none of it was real. The whole thing was just phony. The thing that you clung to the most for security and support was fake. And then you come to realize that the love was real. But not for everyone. Sometimes it's not. And that's really the crux of it all, is knowing when love is real and when it's not. And there's a lot of people who have no idea what love is. For me, I always go back to the 12 ethics to define love, always. It's solid. It's consistent. Every single one of us has them, has to have them, works to have them. So I stick by those. I'll go ahead and give them to you now. The first ethic has given me the hardest because, well, baby, don't talk. It's, you know what? You know what keeps coming into mind? Rocky. Rocky is the first ethic. Rocky. It keeps coming into my head. And I'm going, yep, that's it. That's an example of the first ethic right there. I need to look up this movie for a minute. Because he had a coach, Goldmill. Mickey Goldmill. There we go. All right. So I'm going to use Mickey Goldmill as an example. Because that is mothering. That is love. That is it right there. It's the encouraging. It's the training. It's the, I can't do it for you, but I'm going to push you. It's Mickey Goldmill. Every mother needs to be like Mickey Goldmill. That's right. You know you got mothering right when you are Mickey Goldmill. Because, and this is right here, this is where narcissism occurs. It's really a cold, cruel truth, but it is true. Our mothers did this to us, but they were trained to do it. Our society taught women how to do this to their children. And the more I get into this, the more I can go, oh my God, We praise super moms. If you're not a super mom, oh my God, you're slandered, you're abused. My brother called me a slut and a whore and threw me out and ostracized me because I refused to be codependent to my children. That is the expectation of what we hold our mothers to. Be toxic, be parasitic. And if you don't, you'll have no belonging. I can see now very much that I am just as responsible for my children's narcissism as I am. There's a lot of people also trying to preserve the guilt, not preserve the guilt, soothe and comfort the guilt of a mother. It's really contradicting. Be codependent. Oh, but you're a good mother. This was something I really needed to swallow. Sometimes, especially these last few days, I've been thinking maybe I've just been put here on this earth just to take care of narcissism. I had no intention on even addressing it, but every mental illness came down to this one. And my God, are we absolutely wrong about what it is and what it looks like? Whenever I see someone who cannot articulate or clarify a definition, that's a red flag for me. And when I'm looking at everyone arguing online what a narcissist looks like, what they are, no one can agree. No one. It's like everyone's trying to figure out what's a narcissist? What precisely is it? What's gaslighting? What precisely is it? And no one can tell you. There is no one straight up answer. There are hundreds of definitions for all this, which tells me we're all trying to figure it out. And the reason why we couldn't figure it out is because there's 4 different types. And that was the other thing. I noticed everyone coming up with all these terms. I used to use grandiose and vulnerable. And I'm like, really, it's not complicated. Once you see the big picture, once you understand what you're dealing with. So back to our mothers. Our mothers are conditioned to, in the setting of Rocky, the mother that we have today puts Rocky in the car and the mother does the running for him. The mother picks up Rocky and carries him. The mother puts on the gloves, gets into the ring, and fights the fight for him. That's narcissism. That's the superhero. Mickey Goldmill never once stepped into the ring to fight the fight for Rocky. And when he lost, he let him lose. His job was not to do the fight for him. And it's this refined balance of, and I said this to somebody the other day, it is a really fine point between you want them to be uncomfortable and you don't want them to suffer. That is it. There is a point between you want them to have discomfort without suffering. And that's the goal. They need to be uncomfortable, but they cannot suffer. And what mothers do is they end up avoiding the discomfort with their over-nurturing. So they put their children in either severe comfort zone or severe suffering. The neglectful ones put them in severe suffering. The over-nurturing helicopter parents, super moms, put them in the comfort zone. And in the comfort zone, the child develops a fear and aversion of the discomfort. In the suffering, they develop an aversion to all discomfort because they're hypersensitive to it. So in either case, you end up with a person who believes and doesn't know that they can save themselves. You don't know if you can fight the fight if you don't fight the fight. Ooh, I like that. That's catchy. I'm going to write that down. You don't know if you can fight the fight if you don't fight the fight. And this is the first ethic. It's the discipline. It's the discipline of overcoming the emotional storm to problem solve. The thing is, with the first ethic, it's all of these things, which is why it's so complex. Of all there's so much happening in that first ethic. I have yet to be able to put it into one single word or summation. All the other ones I can do that. This one, and it's the crux, it's so much. It is the discipline. It is the discipline of overcoming the emotions to problem solve. With the second one, it's knowing your role among community, contributing. And between 1 and 2, it's about your resourcefulness. It's about your self-worth and your value. In January, I start doing a whole thing on that's all we're going to talk about is the first ethic. Huh. I see it now. It's going to be here. That's why I needed to create philosophical coffee. I see it now. This is where I'm going to be doing it, where all I'm going to be talking about is the first ethic. In January, I'm going to be launching into this, and I'm doing the preliminaries now for it. So all of January, all we're going to talk about is the first ethic. And then in February, we're going to get into the second ethic. And it's, if you can internalize the first ethic, it resolves so many of your problems. I cannot emphasize to you enough how much it emphasizes your ethics. It's extraordinary. Everything is the foundation of that first ethic. And I keep going over this conversation in my head, how it would have gone down between Socrates and the Roman emperor when the military approached him and said, we need a psychological weapon of warfare. What you got for us? Well, what did you have in mind? Well, we want something like the Trojan horse, because I read that story. I just saw the play last weekend, and that's cool. So I kind of want a Trojan horse. All right, says Socrates. And I can see him like pulling out his documents like, all right, let's brainstorm this. Let's do this. So you want a Trojan horse. That's right. Something that they will take right into their culture without us having to do anything. Okay, all right, so Trojan horse. And the soldiers were inside the Trojan horse. Nah, I want to go something better than that. I don't want my soldiers there. I want this thing to go in, do its thing without us even being there. Interesting. All right, so absent soldiers. Right, yeah. Like a virus. Yeah, like a virus. All right, so like a virus. What else would you like? Well, I want it to spread on its own. If you could just make this thing spread on its own so that all you have to do is plant it with one person and the rest of it goes nuts, and so it self-infects. All right, so you want it to be viral. All right, so you want it to spread on its own, highly infectious. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think I've got an idea how to do that. Well, if you make it so that it appears as a gift, there's your Trojan horse. And if you claim that it boosts confidence and self-love. In fact, we'll call it narcissism, because that will tell you that this thing is like, it's going to make you really self-involved, because everyone knows how important self-love is. So we're going to call this thing narcissism. And we're going to tell them that it's this new thing, this new psychology that allows generals to boost their self-love and self-confidence so they'll become better generals. Yeah, that's it. And just the generals would need it. It would be a special gift just for the generals. Yeah, that's it. In fact, we can just give it to the king. If we just give it to the king, everything else will take care of itself. Kind of like what they did in Othello. Exactly like what they did in Othello. And then how would it work? Yeah, how would it work? Well, what I would do is I would go after the mothering instinct that we all have. And if you just word it in such a way so that you take away a person's ability to save themselves, that should do it. Take away a person's ability to save themselves, they'll not take care of it. They will be so obsessed with saving everybody else that they will never save themselves. They will in turn teach everyone else to save themselves. Everyone will become obsessed with either saving or being saved. No one will ever take care of themselves. They will end up spending their entire time internalizing and projecting at the same time while they teach their children how to do this, because it also activates your mimic mirror response. In 20 years, oh, you'll have it down. If you play this right, you could even have it done in about 60 years. And they said, awesome. And it only targets and erodes the first 3 ethics. Everything else after that is fine, but just the first 3 ethics. Thank you so much, Socrates. Here's 5 gold coins. I'm also going to have to ask you to kill yourself. Here's some hemlock. Oh, awesome, says Socrates. I've always wanted to kill myself. And he did. He was looking forward to the next adventure. And they dropped that information right into the mindset of their enemy. And then in the 4th century, they embedded it into one of our favorite stories before feeding it to us. I cannot express to you how very clear this is to me. And that's another part that I'm just kind of rolling around in my head. I started studying Plato's astrology yesterday. I am very happy to report it took me back to Mesopotamia. And that is what I do in the afternoons, is I do my research live, which is weird because I've always done it in private with encyclopedia books in my rooms. So this is different for me. It's nice because I was able to go right back afterward, watch it and go, all right, so I got the trail down. I never mentioned it, but the Mesopotamia idolized the bull. I feel like such an idiot. Of course, Taurus, the bull. Mesopotamia's entire culture was focused and centralized on the bull. It was their idol, which is why in the Bible they had a golden calf. That was the symbol of Mesopotamia. Anytime you see the bull appear in a culture during that time period, oh, Mesopotamia is all over it. And I should have made that, knowing what I know about Mesopotamia, I should have had something in my brain go, oh, look, Taurus, that's Mesopotamia. And I only thought to start with that because it's my own astrological sign. It's like, I'm going to do this. And had I started with anybody else, in fact, I did before. I looked up Virgo. I looked up all the other ones, and they kept pulling me back to Rome. I needed to look up Taurus to take me back to Mesopotamia. So that's going to be going on this afternoon. I'm very, very excited. In fact, as soon as I get off of this, I'm going to be continuing my research and reverse engineering Plato's astrology. You know, I was a child when I read Sherlock Holmes for the first time. I was 15. It was Hound of the Baskervilles. And it was, Will Watson was looking at this set, this tea set, and he had a hypothesis. And then Sherlock walks in and boom, 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 boom. Like Monk, only better. Better than Monk. And Watson goes, oh my God, you can predict the future. And Sherlock Holmes goes, no, it's logic. And I said to myself, I want to be that logical. I believe I manifested that because I am now that logical. And it's observant. It's a combination of knowledge, logic, specifically logical deduction, and observation. With Monk, it was mostly observation. Monk lacked logical deduction. Yes, I stand by that. He lacked logical deduction, but he had observation down. But you have to have knowledge. My knowledge happens to be the time period from 10,000 BCE to, well, 10,000 BCE to 1776. As soon as we signed that Declaration of Independence, I went, well, I'm done with this. It's like, all right, I'm all done. My Roman history is officially over. I am still trying to figure out if the Roman Empire is here or not. I believe they are. We do not speak their name. That being said, I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to have a fight on my hands. That's really what this is. When you go after something like the Roman Empire, there's a little part of my brain and I'm going, if they're still around, am I going to have a fight on my hands? Because these are people who do not go quietly into the night. So long as I just keep saying the Roman Empire, I'm fine because, hey, they're gone, right? They fell, right? I think they're still here. Oh, I know they are. Yeah. I feel like an idiot. It's not a pyramid. Well, I feel like an idiot. It is not a pyramid. Boy, do I feel so stupid. It's the philosopher's compass. The pyramids of Giza absolutely fascinated me. There were 3. Wait, there are 3. Sorry. I do so much Roman history that everything is in the past tense. So every now and then I hit on something that's, I forget that the pyramids of Giza are still around. The Temple of Heliosis. That was one of the 7 wonders. I looked up the 7 deadly sins last night. I wrote an article on those, backtraced those. That was fascinating to me. Oh, yes. Let's go back over to the 12 ethics. So I want to call it the nurturer. That's really the nurturer. But it's not. Let's look up the word nurturing. What does the word nurturing mean? Offers food, protection, support, encouragement, or training. Offers food, protection, support, encouragement, training. Really keep that in your mind, please, people. The nurturer. The second one is your resourcefulness, but your contribution. And the third, as is always the case, is the integration of self-nurturing. No, not nurturing. You have to receive nurturing in order to know how to self-care. Nurture to self-care. The integration of self-care and accomplishment. And with this, we learn trust in self and trust in others. You receive the knowing. And the belonging. That is what you get. And that is what I refer to as the foundationals. Because this is the foundation of self, of love, of community, of everything. The fourth one is learning how to self-govern. And the fifth is accountability. And the sixth is equality. It is the integration of self-governing and accountability to get equality. And that gives you authority. Seven, 8, and 9. Ha ha. You are the audience. You are the performer. And at 9, you learn the dignity of sharing the stage. This is when you get your naming. It is the mastery of communication, networking, and community building. It is when you have access to trade and bartering. 10, 11, and 12. In 10, you learn emotions. And 11, you learn logic. And at 12, you learn love. And this is the owning. The acceptance of responsibility. So that information is now down below for you. I very much feel like I'm still in the first. No, not still. I have returned to the first ethic. I talked about this the other day where it's the first ethic as the U of I this time. I lived through the first ethic as the I of I, and now I'm doing it as the U of I. And it is learning and understanding how to nurture the one I love without saving him. Also, and most importantly, making sure I save myself. It is quite literally the absolute perfect time to absolve narcissism. It is as if we have a fail-safe within us, where when you reach the first perspective of the U of I, you will resolve narcissism. I also learned that you can have mental illness all the way through the 12 perspectives, that they do not have to all be absolved by the 6th perspective. I love being wrong. I really love being wrong. It's so... Every time I'm wrong, I think, I found something that I can correct and fix. And I'm very happy. I am a fixer. It is a common trait of a controller. There are avoiders and there are controllers. And this has been a trait I've noticed about human beings. I'm going to say avoiders, balanced, or controllers. And I am a controller. A controller is somebody who has to fix it, has to take action. They are the over-enablers. They are the superheroes. That's not true, because avoiders are also superheroes. But they are hands-on. Their way of handling conflict is hands-on and aggressive. Just get out of my way, I'll do it for you. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. That's a controller. The avoider is somebody who, to prevent conflict, avoids conflict. They are the premeditative. They are thinking more in the lines of preventative. That's really it, is let's prevent the problem. But when that tips the wrong way or it goes to the extreme, it's avoidant. So it's let's prevent the problem by thinking about how to resolve it now so it doesn't become something in the future. A controller is all about, it's almost like the fireman, where you go in ready to put out the fire. Yeah, that's it right there. You're either a fireman or you're preventative. You are, oh, you beautiful Greeks. I love you so much. You always give me everything I need. Oh, I love the Greeks. We call this Prometheus. That makes so much more sense now. Or Epimetheus. Let me translate this for you. Epimetheus's name literally means foresight. And Prometheus's name meant hindsight. All right. So I'm going to abandon the avoider controller bullshit and I'm going to go right back to my beautiful Greek people. So you either have Epimetheus or Prometheus, and you got to figure out which one you are. If you are preventative, if you have foresight Epimetheus, then you're going to be more of an avoider. You're going to be more of a let's prevent the problem. But if you're not balanced and aligned, that can go all the way over to avoiding. Whereas if you have a Prometheus, hindsight. For those of you who don't know, Prometheus is the husband, partner, spouse of Pandora. That's who these people are. Epimetheus and Prometheus were brothers. And Prometheus, because it's Prometheus, decided to steal fire from the gods. And this is equivalent to the Christians' mythology of the trees in the Garden of Eden. And it's all about how man became almost like a god, and it scared the gods enough to say, no, you can't have our powers. We're hoarding them. Same thing. So Prometheus goes and steals fire from the gods, and the gods are like, oh no, they're almost like us now. So they punish Prometheus by giving Pandora to the gods. And they hand Pandora to Epimetheus, and Epimetheus, whose name means foresight, went, I'm not touching her. And he passes Pandora on to his brother Prometheus. So Prometheus, his name is Hindsight, takes Pandora to wife. Well, sure enough. And when that didn't work, they went, damn it. Epimetheus was supposed to get her. So they punished them further by giving Pandora a box, knowing that her curiosity would be participant of this. And she opens up the box and releases all the evils into the world, closing it enough just for the word or for hope to remain. So that is Prometheus and Epimetheus. I did not realize we were dealing with hindsight and foresight. So if you are all about hindsight, you are going to be a controller. You're going to be the fireman, constantly putting out all the fires because you got to, and that's it. And if it's balanced, and you need both, you really need both. You need somebody who can put out the fire, and you need somebody who can prevent the fire. That's really ideally, you want both. So when you're coupling up, when you're looking for a partner, making sure that your partner is, okay, define who you are. Having a partner that does both allows you both the ability to basically problem solve 360 degrees. And that's ideal. So that, and as a result, but again, if you're not aligned and balanced, they're going to be extremes. So for Epimetheus, the extreme of foresight is avoidant, where you can be so avoidant that you never get anything done. And vice versa with Prometheus. You're here, and if you're unbalanced, you're going to be putting out fires left and right. You're going to be over putting out fires. So I am Prometheus. My partner is Epimetheus. That explains all of that now. Like, oh, I get it now. I'm just going to turn all of this over to the Greeks because this makes so much more sense for me. Like, oh, it's already there. I don't have to do the work. And that was where I was last night when I was doing my research with Mesopotamia. I'm sitting here going, all right, if I wanted to research astrology, Plato's astrology, where would I begin? Where's the beginning? And I decided, and I was sitting here, I loved the moment because I'm going, where would I begin? And then it just dawned on me, naming rights. Naming rights. And this is words. This is my favorite thing in the world. Oh, this is my happy place. All right, you know what? We're going to go ahead and we're going to do some meditation because I want to do meditation in my morning show. That's right. So let's do this. I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Tomorrow's the solstice. I am not acknowledging Christmas this year because I'm doing a full societal cleanse, and I'm trying to figure out what parts of the society I want. And I realized I miss my solstice. I really miss my solstice. So tomorrow is my Christmas. I pull all of my holidays from the non-Romans. So mine are Samhain and the solstice in the Yule from the Viking era. The very first Christmas carol is Good King Wenceslas. And I remember this one time, I was so deep into my research in Norway, and I'm like following this blood trail, literally this blood trail of which king killed which king. And I was in the 9th, 10th. I got to the 11th and the 12th century. I was around the 11th century. When I got to this child, he was very well loved. His name was Wenceslas. And I just kind of like went, wait, Wenceslas. Like, Good King Wenceslas? Yes, it was that Wenceslas. And I found the story in my research about how Good King Wenceslas was killed on the Feast of Stephen. And I was like, oh my God. So that comes to mind every time I think of the solstice. And then I sing, I saw 3 ships. I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning. And what was in those ships, those 3 on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day? And what was in those ships, all 3 on Christmas Day in the morning? Christ our Lord and his lady on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. Our Christ our Lord and his lady on Christmas Day in the morning. For they sailed them to Bethlehem on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. For they sailed them to Bethlehem on Christmas Day in the morning. And all the bells on earth shall ring on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. And all the bells on earth shall ring on Christmas Day in the morning. I have a playlist literally called An Ancient Christmas, and it's the oldest Christmas music. Old. Wassail, wassail. I miss my music. And all the angels in heaven shall sing on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. And all the angels in heaven shall sing on Christmas Day in the morning. That is my favorite Christmas carol. The first time I heard it was in Edward Scissorhand when he was stapling snow to the rooftop. I had no idea what he was doing. It took me decades to realize it's California and they don't have snow there. Deep breath in. And out. Deep breath in. And out. Deep breath in. And out. I'm going to be writing a book. It's a full workbook where it walks you through all of triadic healing, and it gives you exercises to define the self. The first one is your qualities. Deep breath in. Qualities are the characteristics we choose for ourselves. Deep breath out. It's things like honesty, integrity, bravery, courage. When we meditate, deep breath in, think about which ones you want for you. Try and choose 5 of them. Things that you want to be. Deep breath out. Know yourself. The first triangle in the philosopher's compass is I want. And these qualities are what you want. Deep breath in. And the next thing is I do. Deep breath in. Think about the qualities you want and do them. And when you do them, think of examples of you doing them. And if you have no examples, do them. Create the example. Deep breath in. And out. The next part of this triangle is I am. You want the qualities. You do the qualities. You are the qualities. This is the beginning of self. This is where it all begins. Yeah, it's that simple. You want to be honest? Be honest. Find examples of you being honest. You want to be ethical? Be ethical. Do it. Deep breath in. You want to be kind, gentle, compassionate? Empathic. Oh, are we wrong? Deep breath in. Empathic. Oh, have we messed up the definition of that word? Empathic means understanding and thinking about how another person would feel. Before we act or speak the words. Empathic is being mindful about how your words and actions affect others. Empathic does not mean feeling another person's emotions. This definition, internalization, means feeling another person's emotions. Deep breath in. I was just thinking about the qualities I want, and one of the qualities I desire is empathic, to be empathetic. Empathetic. That's the word. Empathetic is not the same thing as an empath. Deep breath in and out. Okay, I'm going to do some box breathing with you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. So this book that I'm writing is going to be a full workbook where it is all the worksheets. It's all of traumatic healing in a coloring book. It will be a coloring book. It will be all the information required for these 12 ethical stages, designed to build a person up so that they can understand. And it will be fun and interactive, like connect the dots. You know, I can almost see me writing one of these books like every year, just for the variation and fun of it. And I need to also go over it myself. I have an artist that I found that I really, he's my dude. And I would love to collaborate with him on this project. It will be Celtic. Sorry, guys, but that's my energy. It will be Celtic. Maybe it will be all of the things. Oh, no, it will be all of the things. It will be all of the things. It will be all of the things. But I'm Celtic. That's my energy. So, yeah, that's going to be like on the cover. But it's going to be all of the things. I want. I am. I do. I know. And then the next one is nurturing the self. Your resourcefulness. And the balance of both. That's really what integration is. And that is when you have the belonging. It's amazing how it just keeps coming in over itself. The knowing gives birth to the belonging, gives birth to the authority. With the nurturing, you will need the comfort zone. And you will need your boundaries. And you will need your communication and your words. I have such great peace inside of me. Life is so much of an adventure. I can see all these little projects that everything is just clicked together for me. When you find your alignment, your purpose, your balance, it's mind-blowing how it clicks. And every person I speak to who finds this has the same thing. Like, oh my God, this just fits. We are so astounded at the harmony. And really, I want to talk about that. We are shocked at the harmony. And I have a mission of wanting to normalize the harmony. And that's bottom line. Normalize the harmony. That this is the way it's supposed to be. Because when you realize what it's supposed to be like, you look back and you think things like, oh my God, why would we ever do anything different? And either you know it or you don't. I'm putting together a script right now. I started brainstorming it the other day. I almost said brainwashing it. And it was this. I just realized I also want to do positive affirmations. You can save yourself. I am the mother. I need to really wrap my head around this. I know I am. I've said it so many times. The universe has been screaming it at me, and now I understand. The mother is supposed to be the you of I. I just had an epiphany. It all just clicked together. I'm supposed to encourage you. That's all this is. Oh, I'm so excited about this. You can do it. Oh my God, you can do it. Oh, hell yeah, you can do it. That's what I'm supposed to be doing here. I'm supposed to be setting an example to give you the you of I to follow. Oh, that makes so much more sense. I have hypothyroidism, so I have to take levothyroxine for my thyroid. It's annoying as fuck. Positive affirmations work best if you speak them in the you of, or in the you form. And neuroscientists have proven this, that when you are using positive affirmations, do not say I am, say you are. And the reason why is because in psychology, we have to have a role model. We learn through mimic, mirror, repetition. Mimic mirror repetition is done in the third person point of view with the word you are. And as a result, when we hear the words you are, oh my God, that like glows your brain on fire, as opposed to I am affirmations. Do not use I am affirmations. They don't work. Science proves this. Use you are. So it's you are amazing. You can save yourself. You have all the resources you need to survive, to be successful. You are strong. You are safe. You are free. You release everything that harms you. So in this book that I'm writing, I'm going to do you are positive affirmations as well. I see it being like a whole set of like a repetition of, we're going to go over the first ethic, philosopher's compass. And as you go through the ethics, I'll do meditation, positive affirmations, gratitude journaling. That was another huge tool that I used. Gratitude journaling conditions your RAS system to see what you do have. It removes the scarcity mindset from you and switches your brain over to abundance. It also reverses the polarity in your subconscious mind from negative over to positive. You condition your subconscious mind to think in a positive light without you being vigilant. It's amazing because your brain automatically, instead of you having to consciously look for it, your subconscious mind will just do it for you. So it's literally you brainwashing yourself using gratitude journaling. And the RAS is the reticular activation system. Yes, those are two adjectives before a noun. The reticular it should be reticulated action. It's just a mess. I hate whoever created this word is crappy. Reticular activating system. If I had my way, I would reword that in so many different ways. But it's the filter that we have in our brain, the filter that allows us to see whatever is around us. So if you are suffering from trauma, PTSD, this is exactly what PTSD is your RAS has been conditioned to look for trauma. Your RAS is conditioned to look for your triggers to keep you safe. And understanding how your RAS works, this is pure classical conditioning with brainwashing. This is how Pavlov's dog worked, is you basically use repetition, the mimic mirror repetition response, in your brain to filter out precisely what you're looking for. What you really want to be looking for is opportunity. And trauma closes our mind. This is the difference between being open-minded and being closed-minded. Being closed-minded creates prejudice. It creates fear. It creates trauma. Being open-minded gives you escape, gives you the way out, gives you opportunity, gives you positivity, abundance. You start to realize what you have available to you. You get to see all of your resources. You realize you have a lot of resources, which allow you to go MacGyver on your own ass. And when that all happens, the doors of opportunity are plentiful. And that's really what you're doing when you are manifesting. You are manifesting bountiful doors of opportunity. But people don't know that because they don't understand the RAS. So that's really what you're doing. But in order to do this, you need to be using you are statements, gratitude journaling. And it's really the opening up of the subconscious mind so that you start to filter, you stop filtering out all the opportunity looking for trauma. Because if you're looking for trauma, you are filtering out and closing your mind to opportunity. That's my cat, and he has found his sloth. He has this really gross sloth. It's like a Christmas ornament that's like this big, and it's gross because he puts it in his water bottle all the time or in his water bowl. And every time he finds it, he makes that noise. That is the sloth noise in our house. So when you have this RAS conditioned the way you want it to, it opens your mind and you start to become so 360 that you're looking for all the opportunity. It's the same concept as the yes man that we saw in Jim Carrey's movie, Yes Man. That is exactly what he did, was start saying yes to everything. And when you say no to everything, it closes your mind. When you say yes to everything, it opens your mind. And The more you say yes, the more you start to see what's my next opportunity? What else can I say yes to? Think like that. What else can I say yes to? Because that absolutely opens your mind. So in my book, I'm going to have that, where it's going to be the you are, the positive affirmations, the meditation. And I'm going to start this off probably as a PDF. So as I build it, it'll be available on my website as a PDF so that people can literally print it right down and just do the exercises on a day-to-day basis. I want this to be a 90-page book because, because it's cool. But the first 30 days, because that's how long it took my first case study to go through all of this, was 90 days. But I like the number 90. It just makes me happy. The first 30 days would be habit building. The second 30 days would be establishing and nurturing and growing. And then rounding out and polishing would be the next 30 days. That would be your polishing. And it would be definitely like, and I also want to do a bonus of 120 because the bonus would be the perspectives 11, 10, 11, 12. So that it would be the first 30 days would be your first 3 ethics, your foundationals. The next 3 would be your cultivating. And then the next one would be your visionary. And then the 10 through 12 would be your mastery. He's a very insecure cat when he comes to his sloth. He's like, oh, I got my sloth. Love me, I have my sloth. I've never seen an animal more like the relationship. I want to do like a little kid's book of Midnight and his sloth. That would be awesome. The Adventures of Sloth and Midnight. That could be a book. The Adventures of Sloth and Midnight. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to tell my daughter. It's actually her cat. The Adventures of Sloth and Midnight. I'm going to write this book. Yes. And it will be a love story in 4-part harmony. A love story in 4 parts. Midnight and his sloth. So I love this. I love this book idea that I have. And this is like, try to killing the coloring book. It has to be fun. It has to have a story because that's how we learn. Understanding the mimic mirror repetition response with fun and story so that when we build this book, when you go through it, it activates the fun, the imagination, the story side. And that I'm going to have this artist come in. I'm going to ask, and I know he'll do it. He's a graphic artist. He's extraordinary. And I'm going to also have like coloring pages and things like that. So it'll be very interactive. It'll be very fun, story-based. That way, as it unfolds, you can fill it in. And going through it, that's Midnight Sloth story. I'm going to put this over here. Going through it, that's literally building the blocks of this human self, of the self. And what I love about it is almost every page I can do a triangle. I can show you like the infinite number of triangles, how each triangle births the next triangle. It's extraordinary. That's like my favorite part of all this is the geometry. Like there's a little part in the back of my brain going, the geometry. Like, I don't know why geometry. I was talking to my daughter the other day and I said, I know why I like architecture so much. And she goes, why? Because architecture is geometry in real life. And it's, yeah, like I have such an obsession with geometry and I don't know what it is about it. It's like, I love triangles and squares. I actually have one of my paintings it's just squares and it makes me so happy. It's just squares. It's a square with a bunch of squares and it's just rows of squares. And then each square is colored in all earth tones. And I'm like, it's like my favorite thing in the world is this square of many squares. So yeah, we'll go through. Oh yeah, I absolutely love this coloring book idea, this interactive book. And I think that's why I've been struggling doing an actual, I've been trying to do these books where I've sat down so many times to do a handbook where Midnight, kitty, kitty, where I depict the stages and walking people through it, but it's so adult boring that I get like the introduction done, maybe chapter 1 or 2, and then I'm just like, all right, this is boring. And if I'm being bored by writing it, people will definitely be bored when they read it. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do, and the best thing is because it's this coloring book, literally children of like, this is going to sound weird, but yeah, like children who are like 8 years old plus can easily do this. And it's simple and it's so primitive, basic. So yeah, the first triangle is the I want, and you list your qualities that you want, and I'll have a list of all the qualities. And it'll have a hyperlink on the PDF where you can open up a, let me just get it for you because this list of your qualities is so huge. And I'll just drop this link in the video below so you can grab it. I used it when I did this exercise. 100 character qualities is what I call it. And I'm going to drop it right down here below so you guys can grab it. So if you're looking for what qualities you want in yourself, there it is. Save. Okay, it's there now. Open it up and you can go through it. It's all alphabetical. This is a fantastic resource. And you can select which of these is most important to you. And I would start with 5 to 10. Please don't do, well, no, I'm not going to tell you that's your, I do not condone this one in here. I do not condone it at all. It is so toxic, so toxic. I'm just going to come right out and say it. In my professional opinion, fear of the Lord is so fucking toxic. Please do what you need to do for yourself. But professionally, as far as psychology goes, fear of the Lord is so fucking toxic. So fucking toxic. I'm going to say it. Don't do that one. Please don't do that one. It is so fucking, it is like literally breaks down. It is the opposite of everything I'm trying to build up here. Like what the hell? I'm trying to build the self, not tear it down. You should not be afraid of anything. This fear of the Lord bullshit is manipulative, narcissistic garbage from the Roman Empire put inside the Christian story to manipulate you. Don't do it. It's Christian rhetoric. It is not Christ stuff. Christ stuff is awesome stuff. Christ never once, it infuriates me. Yeah, there's, I hate manipulative garbage. These are my people, man. Stop manipulating my people. All right. So, but you got other stuff here that's just absolutely gorgeous stuff. Freedom. Freedom is a quality I value. I put it on my arm. But this is a great example of, yeah, obedience is also another one. Okay, this list is very toxic. I see obedience in here. Obedience is another one that's really toxic. Like obedience literally means enslavement. An obedient slave. I mean, it's all right. I'm not happy with this list. I'm officially unhappy with this list. Let me find another one. Qualities. But that is a good example of what you can see. And I think I'm just going to write my own because I want to make sure they're positive and healthy. And that is so, so vital, making sure they're positive and healthy. Oh, here's a good one. All right, I'll do this one as well. Like adventurous, that's a really good one. Let me go through this real quick. Like, all right. Yeah, I want to be selective with this. I think I'm going to do my own. I think that's really what I need to do is just build up my own list. And I will go through about 20 different lists and I will cherry pick and I will define them for you. So you can see my psychological definition and philosophical definition of what these things are. So you guys are choosing healthy ones because the last thing I need is somebody going, I want to be obedient. No, that's the opposite of freedom. No, I'm trying to build you up, people, empower you, be free, be a rebel. So, but yeah, what you do is you take the qualities, you choose which ones you want to be. And it's the I want, that's your top of your pyramid. I want. And then you do them. And this is what we call in economics, proof of concept. Proof of concept, it's also in business. Proof of concept is basically the proof that you can. And it's something that it's in our brains. Oh my God, this is so vital to so much of our primitive psychology. I mean, like you learn this in the first 1 to 2 years. This is where a lot of our programming got messed up with parenting is we were 1 or 2 years old and we needed to prove to ourselves. It was the pursuit of the proof of concept. That is what we did when we were toddlers. Every one of us did this. We were 1, 2, 3 years old. We had discovered our legs. We discovered our legs. We discovered our ability to climb. We discovered our ability to run faster than our parents. And we discovered our authority and our independence. And our parents, who were messed up, had projection, had fear, pounded us down to obey. See where this is a problem? Where, and depending upon what type of parenting you ended up with severe abuse, severe neglect, severe punishment if you did not conform or obey. What they did was they compromised our proof of concept. That's really what they took away from us. We talk about, oh, if you don't let them learn, they won't learn. Let me translate that in psych terms for you. If you don't let a child or a toddler learn, you deprive them of their proof of concept. They won't know they can fight the fight if they're not allowed to fight the fight. If you stand up for your child by carrying your child all over the place, that child will never learn that they can stand. And this is the core of being saved or saving other people. Because you think, oh, I can't be saved because my mother always saved me. It was the proof of concept that over nurturing, it's not nurturing, that over mothering, enabling takes away from you. When you enable, you deny the proof of concept. And you need the proof of concept so you can stand up and do and be and know who you are. You don't know what you're capable of if you don't do it. But because at the time period, 1, 2, 3, when we needed to do this, we were told no. We were told that we couldn't make decisions on our own. That's what government, self-government teaches us. It's about the ability to make a decision for yourself. That's why so many people are afraid of choice. So much choice was made for them. Oh, Ayn Rand. I'm pulling Ayn Rand in this. Ayn Rand's sister grew up in Russia while Ayn Rand escaped and came to America. This is back in 1920s. No, Cecil B. DeMille. So 1940s, 1930s, 1940s. After 60 years, when Russia finally started to allow its people free-ish, her sister, after not seeing her for like 60 years, came to America. They went to a grocery store, and Ayn Rand's sister was so overwhelmed with our grocery choices in America that this woman from Russia ended up having a mental breakdown right there in the store. She could not choose her toothpaste. She said to her sister, "Can't the government just tell me which one I should use?" Welcome to communism. It is no different than that. Our parents, most of them, run our young lives like a communist government. So we do not have the freedom and the ability of choice. And what choice does is it empowers you. It proves to you that you can choose. You can choose your friends. You can choose your clothes. You can choose to have that weird green colored hairstyle. You can choose, well, to have a tattoo. Yes, you can. I am someone who does not believe that should happen until you're 18, but it's something I'm actually discussing with my daughter now because she's 16 and she's like, I want a tattoo. I do not feel like a responsible parent to sign off to say, yes, you may tattoo my daughter. I can't do it. When you're 18 and you still want that too, go for it. I'll support you. But I cannot legally sign off on that prior to, like, it just doesn't feel ethical to me. So you turn 18 and you go do what you do and I will support you. But I cannot sign a legal document to say, yes, this is a smart decision. And all I can remember is this coworker I once had. She was like 35, and I saw this tattoo right here. I said, what is that? I was 15, and she held it up, and it was a mustache, so she could do this. And here she was, 35, going, yeah. And I'm going, see? And I told my daughter this, and she went, I want that. Yes, when you're 15 and 16, having a tattooed mustache on your finger is awesome. When you're 35, it's not so cool. So proof of concept is what we seek when we are children. We must have this in order to have the basic building block in life, which is you can save yourself. Oh, good God, I just want to say this over and over again. You can save yourself. You can do everything for yourself. You are self-sufficient. You are. You are so much stronger than you know. Because you haven't been tested, because you haven't done, because do it. Do it. Fear is only an undefined self. The only reason why we experience fear is because we don't know we can do it. We don't know who we are if we were to do it. We don't know if we would pass the test. Be Rocky. Be Rocky. Fight the fight. Like, this is such a huge thing. And every over every helicopter mom, every enabler, every super mom interferes with proof of concept. And proof of concept is the core of human growth, of human stability. And this truly is what is compromised when we are children. That being said, to get it back, here's how to get it back. I want, choose your qualities. Go do them. Be honest. Be ethical. Be compassionate. Document. Keep a journal of your qualities. On this day, I helped an old lady across the street. On this day, I was empathetic, not empathic. Empathetic, it's different. On this day, I was nice. No, don't be nice. Not nice. Dr. Aziz Gazipura, read that book. Not nice. You want to be kind. Kind. Good for you. But not nice. Nice means obedient and a dirtbag. Don't be nice. Don't be nice. Mean means, oh, you're not letting me do what I want to you. That's mean. Don't be nice or mean. That's manipulative, obedient garbage shit. What you need to do is figure out what qualities are important to you. Choose the qualities. Go through this list and do them. Journal them. This is your proof of concept. And when you do them, you are. It's your actions. It's your choices, followed by your actions, that create who you are. This is the building block. This is where it all starts. And there's going to be that moment where you have the ability to self-evaluate. Self-evaluation is like one of my favorite things to do. It is being critical of yourself. And I don't mean like condescending or mean. I mean really step back and pretend you are your own employer. And what do you think of your behavior today? Do you like the way you spoke to so-and-so? Did it make you feel good? You can say things to yourself like, ooh, I don't like that I did that. I need to change it. And then change it. Be consciously aware of it and change it. And to do it, choose the opposite. That was mean. That was not kind. That was not gentle. That was too rough. What's the opposite? What's the opposite of whatever it is that you were? And then focus on becoming that. Use your RAS system, positive affirmations, manifestation. By the way, manifestation is just reconditioning your RAS system. It's just physics and psychology. So that you create a new filter and a new behavior. And then when you condition yourself to do that, you have the ability to define who you are. Once you do all of this consistently, it took me 2 weeks. It took me about 2 weeks to do this. 2 weeks. By the end of 2 weeks, I knew who I was. 2 weeks of this, and you will have your knowing. And that's at most 2 weeks. In my first case study, it was about, I noticed the difference with her in about 2 to 3 days. Literally 3 days. So give yourself 2 weeks, but you're going to see results fast, because this right here, the I want, I do, I am, I know. That's it. That is your first compass. Then the second compass gets into the first 3 ethics. That's going to be your nurturing. That's going to be your ethics, your values. This is going to be your nurturing, your resourcefulness, your boundaries, and then the balance of the two, which is going to give you communication. It's going to give you understanding how to navigate and juggle. That's the word I've been looking for. It allows you to juggle. This is the art form, people. It allows you to juggle the difference between your adventure and your comfort. My God, this is so like, you have your adventures and then you have your comfort. It's like you walk into laser tag. I don't like paintball. You walk into paintball and you're armed up and you're ready to go. The adventure is going out there with your paintballs. But the comfort is when you fall back on a shelter and you're like dressing your wounds, and then you're back in the adventure again, and then you rest. And this is it. This is your comfort zone and your adventure zone. Most of us do not learn about the comfort zone because most of us had an overbearing mother who did the comforting for us. And when the mother's gone, we're going, I don't know how to comfort. So you go into the adventure zone without any equipment and you end up getting beaten down, tired, exhausted, but you don't know what to do because you never learned how to integrate. This is it right here. Like, this is it. Knowing your comfort zone, knowing that you can do this, and then learning how to juggle it with your adventure and your comfort, adventure, comfort. And I'm always going to promote and say, you know what you really need to do is play Skyrim. And the reason why is because in Skyrim, this is exactly what we do. You fight your way out of the prison in the beginning and you get your freedom. And the first thing you do is, all right, I need resources. This is it, people. You need your resources. So you steal this, you put on armor, you upgrade your shit, you got your axes, you're good to go. You find some food, you find some gold, and you get to Whiterun. There is you building up your comfort zone. And then you have this safe sanctuary in Whiterun, and you've got the wide wilderness of the blank X'd out map that you have to go explore and adventure in. And then when you go seek out, I really want to play Skyrim now. And when you go and seek out all these adventures, your character is going to get laden down with weight. It's going to get tired. It's going to, all this stuff is going to happen to your avatar. He's going to get wounded. He's going to need potions. He's going to need food. Mentally, you're fatigued where you feel it. You're going, oh, I got to go back to Whiterun and rest. This is it. You are juggling the adventure with the comfort zone. But you have to do this in real life. But we weren't taught how to do it in real life. We were never taught that we needed to do this in real life. This is proof of concept that the more you do this, the more you learn how to toggle between adventuring and resting and comforting yourself, nurturing yourself, you're set. Once you master this balance, you can start bringing your comfort zone with you so that you can be in the adventure zone longer. And the more you do this, the more you define the self. The more you define the self, the more you are empowered. And you know you can handle it because you have proof of concept. Proof of concept is amazing. I need to do like a whole lecture on just proof of concept, which is exactly what this has been. So maybe I don't need to do it because I've already done it. So yes, this has been proof of concept. Proof of concept is absolutely extraordinary. Like, do it. It's amazing. It's very powerful. And to really integrate it, you require the mimic, mirror, repetition, response. Like, I'm going to really emphasize that a lot, is your mimic, mirror, repetition. Use me as your example. Like, really, because I got this shit nailed down. And we need that U of I. That's how we learn. We have a role model, and then okay, this is going to be, and then what I recommend strongly that a person does is have a future self, you, the future, implanted in your own U of I. Like, imagine who you wish you could be. Boom, there's your U of I. That's it right there. And this is what I did when I was first doing these exercises when I was 15, 16, 17. This is how I passed my time as a teenager. I would have the future self, the future I wish I was. And then there was this goddess awesome that I am now finally. And I had this in place. And I would compare my behavior against who I wish I was. And every time I was not emanating or replicating this ideal behavior, I would change it. I would say, oh, I don't like that. That's not like this. I want to make sure I'm like this. So without realizing it, I had made this idealized future version of myself. And it wasn't perfect. Perfection does not exist. It's really vital that you keep that in mind, that perfection is something else entirely. Perfection is an idealized fear that other people embed into us to control us. This is not about perfection. It's about taking attainable qualities, and doing your best every day to make sure you replicate your ideals. And this is where pride comes from. Pride is all about, I want, I do, I am. And it's the alignment. It is truly the alignment of I want what I am. I am what I want. I cannot emphasize that to you enough, that is it. That is like, of all the, if I were to take all of my writing and summarize it right down to that, it would be that right there. I am what I want. I want exactly what I am. When you have these two things aligned, you are the self-defined. It's extraordinary. It is literally everything you could ever use. Thank you so much for being my audience. May the kindest of words always find you.